Welcome to Talk Pro to Me, the podcast where we talk about our passion, the purpose, and the paths that led us to the professional remodeling organization, Pro. We are excited you're here. I'm Sarah Waters. I'm your host. Now let's build something great. This episode is brought to you by Signovation, where brands show up and win. Everyone, we are excited to kick off our May podcast, and we have a fantastic lady in the industry of Holly Hunt with Elevate Construction, co-founder of Elevate. Welcome, Holly.
Thank you so much for having me, Sarah.
Yes, we are excited to have you. You've been a member of Pro shy of a year, maybe 6 months.
Yeah, I would say probably about 6 months.
Came in strong. Congratulations. You were the member of the year.
Yes, thank you. That was an awesome award. I mean, it was just such a great night. And then even more, just so special to receive that award.
So a lot of what goes into, people wonder, how do you get Pro Member of the Year? And you guys kind of out of the gate, you got involved in a committee. You had a Pro Contractor of Excellence Award entry. Tell us a little bit about that aspect.
Yeah, so we were just excited to be able to showcase our work because our team is in the background doing all of the heavy lifting. And Craig and I are out on the front. Obviously, you see us the most, but our guys are the ones who are doing all the work with our subcontractors. So to be able to showcase a project and all of the work that went into that, the quality of it, so that was really exciting to be awarded for that. And it really just goes to our team that was part of it.
That's fantastic.
Yeah.
And you're in commercial pro remodeling, but we do have a lot of businesses that are new build, commercial. So we're excited to have you guys get on board. What drew you into the organization?
Gosh, there are so many great contacts that are part of Pro. And then just the collaboration, the events, there's so many great committees and events that you guys put on. Of course, the most fun one was the 80s prom theme. That was
fun.
That was
you guys embraced it.
Yes, we did. But truly just everything that you guys do. I'm part of one of the roundtables, the contractor roundtables. And that has really helped me because it's talking to different business owners, whether it's residential or commercial. Everybody's dealing with a lot of the same problems. Yeah. So to be able to listen to what other people are doing to find solutions has been so helpful for me. And so I'm just excited to be a part of everything. And I really did want to jump in head first and just, figure out how I can help with Pro, but also I really want to get more commercial contractors involved, whether that's subs or general contractors. So that's really a goal of mine this year.
Absolutely. And it's kind of funny, as Pro was growing, I would say, Elevate Construction, they're a member, right? Are they a member? If they're, you got to talk to them. And I was like, we connected once. Yes, and you're like, I don't know. We're seeing what's happening. And we were just new. And then again, everyone you see was like, oh, you got to join Pro.
Yes,
and finally
everyone
I was like,
was saying that.
Well, you just join already because they'll leave you alone. They'll leave me alone. And it's been a great collaboration in a very short time.
It really has. And it's one of the best decisions we've made for our company. Just so many great people who truly give referrals. Yeah. And we wanted to be able to give referrals to those that are part of Pro. So it's really just been an awesome experience being part of it.
Glad to hear that.
Yeah.
Tell us more about Elevate. You guys are commercial based. What do you focus on? What are your services?
Yeah. So we basically will provide any general construction services, whether that's general construction being the GC on a project. We will also do construction management services, but basically we handle everything that's larger than single family residential. So we will do anything from duplexes to industrial, retail, restaurant, office. Wow. We've done a lot of convenience stores. So we really don't have an exact sector that we go to, but truly it's just anything that's commercial based. And our focus is really on relationships. So while we will take a one-off project at any time, we're really focused on just making sure that we can understand the client and hopefully it's long-term so that we can continue to work with them in the future. Mm-hmm. And it goes both ways. While, of course, we want to provide the best quality and service to our clients, we also want to make sure that they're the right fit for us. So we are having a lot of meetings up front, conversations, expectations, and just making sure that it's going to work. And then also getting feedback after a project is done so that we can make sure that we are doing the best work in the future for them as well.
I love that you mentioned the feedback. Is that through like a survey or how do you gather that data on and with a customer?
Yeah. So actually we've just started to do a survey that we're implementing for our customers. And in the past, what we've done is just had conversations with them afterwards. And sometimes it's constructive criticism and we're willing to accept that because we want to make sure that we can do better. There's always something that we can improve on, especially in construction. Not everything goes perfectly, as we all know. And so how can we, whether it's, did we communicate well enough if there was a schedule adjustment? Did we communicate well if there was a change order? And how do we fix that in the future to make sure that we're providing that best service to our
Yeah.
clients? So as of right now, what we've been doing is just having the conversation, but we are implementing a survey that we're hoping will just get people to really give honest feedback and help us to make a better team and also just provide a better service.
I watch you guys on socials and kind of have seen your team. It looks like you have a pretty, and I saw you at the holiday, right? Like you guys
Yes.
had a great time together.
Yes.
How have you created that type of atmosphere and that environment within your team?
Yeah, I mean, I will say we have went through some struggles, obviously, with just it being a newer company and growing and really trying to figure out what our culture was going to be.
Sure.
There was a lot of times where we were growing so rapidly that it was just hire, hire, hire. But what we've really found is it just matters so much who you hire and that they can follow your core
Mm,
values. And so we have really just made sure that we're implementing that among the team. And we've got our core values everywhere we talk about them. And when we give reviews, it's all about the core values. Are you following these? And what can we do to improve upon
yeah.
them? And so we really have instilled that. But then another thing is we really do like to make sure that our team feels appreciated. And it's not only just acknowledgement of you guys are doing great or here's what we can improve on, but it's also just celebrating the wins, making sure that we do have lunches for them or have events. And then we're also part of the community. We're trying to get involved with volunteering and we get our whole team involved with that. And so it's just making sure that we're doing things together that really just help to improve the team culture, but then also just making sure that we're encouraging them and helping them to be leaders in the industry.
Absolutely. It's a lot of investment. It sounds like you guys
Yeah.
take the time to build a relationship, get to
Yes.
know them and build around that. That's
Right. We
awesome.
really we really do try, and that's something that we take pride in is just making sure that we have a great team culture and that everybody enjoys coming to work every day.
That helps, right? We spend so
Yeah.
much time in an
We
office
do.
that
Yeah.
it's important to not dread that every day. So that's
Exactly.
fantastic.
Yes. Yeah. That's very important to me just because everybody spends so much time either on the job site or in the office. So we want to make sure that people love coming to work. Even if you're having a bad day, it hopefully you
Right.
can put a smile on your face.
You mentioned being a little bit newer to the industry. How long have you guys been in business?
So we have been in business about 3.5 years now.
Congrats.
Thank you. Yeah, it's a big accomplishment for us. Obviously, there's always going to be challenges with starting a new company. But between myself and my business owner, we have both been individually in construction for about 18 years each. But then we've got a great team that has been, gosh, I mean, some have 30 years of experience in the industry. And so
Wow.
everybody combined with that experience, we feel like we can tackle almost anything, which has been great. But it's been an accomplishment just to know we've overcome so many challenges
Yeah.
in 3.5 years, and we're just excited to see where the next few go.
That's exciting. Again,
Yeah.
3.5 years in industries. It is a new business, especially construction. That's something to be
Yeah.
proud of. It's a
Yeah. Thank
challenge,
you.
right? We can
Yes, it
all
is.
do the hammer or whatever it might be, but
Yeah.
running the business is the hard
Right.
part.
Right. It really is. And building your reputation, that's just so important. And it's crazy because one person can completely change that and one job can completely change that. So it's just making sure that we're building the right reputation. And if there is an issue, that we're finding the solution for that.
You just mentioned 3.5 years. So over that time, you said you had to learn a lot. What is one
Mhm.
of the biggest lessons or things you had to pivot in order to be more successful?
Oh gosh, I mean, I would say over the course of my career, one of the things I've really had to deal with is just learning how to take that constructive criticism
Mhm.
and then how can we better ourselves. It's never easy to have somebody tell you that they're really disappointed in how something went. And what I have always took from that is it's not necessarily the team because what have I done to lead them in the right
Sure.
direction? And so then I have to really take it in myself and figure out, okay, what could I do better so that they understand how to be running this project better? That's been a difficult thing for me. And then just obviously making myself uh, be more confident in a male
Mhm.
dominated industry.
Mhm.
It's definitely gotten a lot easier over the years, but starting out, that was definitely something that I had to work through. And I found a voice now, found confidence, but also just the ability to lead. And that's what's so important to me is to make sure that I'm making a difference in my team's life and also our clients' lives. So just finding that desire and just ability to lead has been really important to me.
You mentioned being a female in this industry. There's not a ton, right? How did you end up in construction, commercial at that?
Oh gosh, I never thought I would be in construction, and my parents definitely didn't think I would ever be in construction, but my dad was in construction growing up, and I actually was in fashion merchandising in college, which is a complete opposite of
Yeah.
construction, right? But I eventually led myself into business, graduated with a business degree, and started in commercial real estate. And after running some construction projects across the United States for franchise concepts, I was actually asked to become a partner in another firm. And so started that company, was very successful, operated that for 8 years, and really just started to learn all the ins and outs of what it takes to truly be successful in construction.
Mhm.
And then I did go back and take my construction management classes, but I will say the best experience was truly being in the field and being very uncomfortable, diving in, asking questions to the subcontractors and finding out, okay, what are some of the issues that you guys run into? How can we better that? And, working with other general contractors and
Yeah.
figuring out what are their pitfalls and how can we do that better? So, I was kind of thrown into it, but I will say it was definitely the best way I could have learned because sometimes the most uncomfortable times are the times we're going to grow the
Sure.
most. And so I just really figured out that I absolutely loved it. And then, of course, now when we started Elevate, I've really dove into more of the business side of things. But I will say I can always step back into the field and work alongside the guys because I don't feel like anybody is above that. So that's just something that I have really enjoyed is getting down and dirty with the actual team and figuring out how everything goes together.
Do you find was it hard to gain the respect of your male peers at first?
It was at first, yes. Back in the day when I was in construction management, I would go to job sites and I mean, I would literally have men say that I didn't belong there. And so having to grow that
Right.
confidence, and I will tell you, I would go into a shell and I feel like going through those times made me so much stronger. And then I started to really have to believe in myself
Sure.
instead of hearing it from other people. And the more knowledge that I gained, the more confident I felt. And so it took a long time to get there, but there was definitely a lot of people who like to push others down
Mhm.
instead of empower. And so I think it's so important to really empower women who want to get into the industry. And how we do that obviously is encouraging the younger generation. So that's something that I've went to some schools and talked to them, but just making sure that they feel comfortable because
Yeah.
it's not something that's just for men. There's
Yeah.
so many opportunities for women to be involved as well.
You guys mentioned you are active in community. You've done some education stuff to help those going youth into the trade.
Yes.
How important is it to be involved in a community or do charitable work?
Oh gosh, I mean, that is such a huge push for us. It's something that we truly just enjoy being part of is helping others, especially, as we become more successful, how do we help others become more successful? And so being involved in the community, it's funny because I want to be involved in everything. I want to be able to help every foundation and nonprofit. And of course, you have to really pick and choose sometimes. But I think even if it's not monetary, being able to give your time to certain foundations is so important. And that's what we really try to do is get our team involved
Sure.
too with volunteering and then just being involved in community events and, for example, being part of Pro and just talking with other people who are in the industry and then coming together to all support different foundations. So it's something that is truly very close to my heart. And I'm so thankful that now that I have the opportunity to actually give back like that
Yeah.
instead of, being in an office all the time, it's how can I get more involved in the community and how do we get our team more involved? And there's just so many great organizations out there.
There
So
is. It's
we
hard
love
to
to be a
pick.
part of it. It is very hard
It's
to
hard to
pick.
pick.
Yes.
You guys done some amazing projects. One is very cool. Won a Lincoln Huskers project. Can
Yes.
you tell us
Yes.
a little bit more about
Oh
that?
gosh, that was the first project that we were ever awarded, and it
Wow.
is still the most memorable. What an experience it was we were basically building out the press room at University of
Very
Nebraska
cool.
Lincoln. And while we were doing that, we were right next to the the practice field. And so, we've got construction going on while all the football players are coming in. And it was just such a cool experience. And then to be able to see that now on TV and know that we did that. But also looking back, that was one of our smaller projects to date. However, just the most memorable. It was very successful. We worked hard as a team and came together. And just to be able to put our name on something, it was just so special. And I went to school there too. So that made it even better. But yeah, I mean, just what a cool experience. And it's been tough to top that one, I will say.
Is that one of your favorite projects?
It's my absolute favorite project to date. Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah. And I mean, we're thankful for every project that we've done, but just the whole experience of being at the university and being surrounded by all of the athletes and just it was just so cool.
Yeah. If you're from Nebraska and you love Nebraska, it's something to get to be a part of that, right?
Yes.
It's just our culture. It's who we are.
Right. Yeah. And we are hoping to really be involved with a little bit more with the university.
Yeah.
So we've done a couple restaurant projects there as well, which is fantastic. But we want to continue working with the universities and getting our name out there with them.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Your partner's Craig Moore, right?
Yes,
you guys you own together, co-founder?
Yep, we're both co-founders. Yeah. So Craig and I met at my last company and he was a project manager and I feel like we complement each other so well. We both have a lot of the same experience, but also completely different. Myself coming from the construction management side and then him coming from just construction, being a project manager, a superintendent. So he really worked his way up. But our abilities to work together has really been phenomenal. He runs the field and works with all of our superintendents, our project managers, and I run the business development, human resources side. And so I think just working together, it seemed to flow so well. And we can really be very honest and transparent with each other and encourage one another, but also when something's going wrong and we feel like one needs to step up, we are not afraid to say it. So there's some butting heads, but we always get through it and come out stronger.
I think they always say that the hard conversations are the most important conversations.
Yes,
so like you guys have tackled that.
Yes.
Got to get through those tough conversations.
Yeah. And that has not been difficult for us, which is funny, but we're very both strong, opinionated. And so, we have a same page meeting every week. And I will say, that's when things get that's when everything gets thrown out there.
Sure.
And what do we need to do to improve our business? But also what have our wins been and how can we celebrate the team?
I love that.
Yeah.
So what did you say? You call it same page meeting?
Same page. Yep.
I like that.
Got to get on the same page. Yeah.
I think we might steal that from you.
Yeah, absolutely.
What makes Elevate Construction stand out? Why choose you?
So I will say that's tough because I feel like every contractor says the same thing. We're under schedule, we're under budget, but truly what we focus on is relationships. And I mentioned that before, but it sounds very cliche, but we truly do. I mean, it means so much to us. We are the type who wants to sit down with our client, find out what their expectations are, what's the most important to them as we go through the process, and then really focus on, and we're really trying to improve this as we continue growing our business. It's sitting down with the client and figuring out, okay, how has this been so far? Is there anything moving forward that we need to be doing? And then communication is so huge. So whether it's weekly communication or if they're wanting more, we're making sure that we're just constantly communicating with our clients on feedback and expectations. And so I feel like being a partner, and that's truly where we differentiate ourselves, is we are in it almost as the owner. We're trying to be in their shoes and figure out what are they going through and how can we make sure that we are alongside them for this whole process. I feel like that's what a lot say, but we truly do feel that. And in order for people to see that, we want to work with them and then prove it.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
What do you think is the biggest misconception on what it takes?
I think that people assume that it's much easier than it is. There's a lot of people who will say, oh gosh, you guys have it so good. You own a construction company. You've got all these big projects going on. But the truth is there's so much grit behind that and so many hours put into it. Gosh, there's some days where you're at the office at 8 a.m. and then you're still sending emails at 11:30 p.m. And not only that, but just Obviously, everybody knows there's stress with running a business, but there's a lot of emotions too.
Mhm.
And you're dealing with people's lives. So, our team, they all have their families, and making sure that they feel secure in their role, but also that they're able to have a work life balance. And so, it's making sure that you understand that. But then also just trying to figure out solutions. So, if we have a project that goes downhill, it's trying to figure out, okay, you put that burden on you, and what did we do wrong to lead our team, and how can we fix this?
Yeah.
And then making sure that we continue keeping our reputation. So I think there's just so much that people don't think about when they look at us, because it looks like, oh, they're doing so great, but there's just so much that goes into that.
Yeah.
And I wouldn't trade it for the world. So there's a reason that we do this, and I absolutely love it. But there's definitely some times where I'm like, what the hell was I thinking?
I think we all have that moment
Yeah.
as entrepreneurs, right? You're like, maybe I
Yes.
should just go work here.
Yeah, yeah. But no, it truly has been the most rewarding experience. And, every day brings something different, which is,
Mhm.
excuse me, something that I would never take back. But yeah, I think if anybody wants to start a business, I absolutely encourage that. But you really have to be willing to give your all, and
Yeah.
also be willing to put in the time and the effort. So it's not just an easy ride.
I think there's that misconception that it's, oh, you get to set your own hours, you get to work when
Hmm.
you want. But
Yeah.
really, I think I find for most in that situation, it's learning to turn off so you're not working
Yes.
all the hours.
Yes,
And
that is the truth.
you mentioned the importance of that balance. How
Yes.
are you able to find a work? Your mom, you've got
Yeah.
two,
Yeah.
three
Three
kiddos, three
kiddos.
kiddos. So
Yes.
how do you find a
Yeah.
balance to be mom and are you
Gosh.
able to shut that off, that work mind?
I will say it is so tough. And
Mhm.
I don't like to take credit for having it all figured out, because I definitely don't. I have a lot of guilt for either spending too much time on my work or spending time with my family when I should be working. And so I never feel like there's that perfect balance for me. I really do try when I'm with my kids to be very intentional about the time that I'm giving them. And I want to be able to go out and do fun things with them. But one thing that I hope that they really take from seeing me work the hours that I do is just the work ethic. And I really hope that they grow up
Yeah,
to also be the same. But, I also make sure that I tell them all of this effort is being put in so that we can have the life that I want you all to have.
sure.
And it definitely comes with a lot of sacrifice. So while I want everybody else to have that work life balance, I'm still trying to figure that out. And it's not always perfect, but I definitely try my best to make sure that when I'm either at work or with my kids, that I'm giving them the best
Sure.
of my time.
What's been your biggest win over the last year, either professionally or personally?
Gosh, I really feel like this year we have really started to gain recognition for just Elevate as a company. We've started to really come into our own. So when we first started Elevate, we were under the assumption that, oh gosh, we both have all of this experience. We've done these amazing
Mhm.
projects. And then people said, well, what has Elevate done? And that was really a tough pill to swallow, because I didn't really think about that. Oh my gosh, we have to completely start our resume over and build
Yeah,
that up. And so that was that was tough, but I feel like in our third year, people have really started to recognize us as a company,
mhm.
and we were awarded our largest project to date this year. And that was just such a huge win for us to know that we can do that. And we've been successful so far. And so it's just a stepping
Yeah,
stone. But also, just, I truly feel like we have such a great team in place. And that to me is a huge win. And hearing that our team is happy with where they're at, and they're excited for the
sure.
future, and they want to help Elevate grow, that means so much to me. So I just feel like we're in a really good place there.
That's awesome. I
Yeah.
think you mentioned too celebrating all the wins, which I think is
Mhm.
fantastic because maybe 3 years ago that project you've been ready. Maybe you weren't ready yet for that
Right.
project. And
Yes,
so
and
it's
I do look back on that all the time, and Craig and I will mention that back and forth. Is when we first started, we wanted these very large projects, and we said, well, we can handle them because we both have, but we definitely would not have been ready for them. So there is a reason for everything,
yeah.
and a stepping stone. And I truly feel like we're understanding that now because last year we grew very rapidly and not everything went perfect. So now it's just understanding what we can actually handle
Yeah.
and making sure that we have the right team in place to handle those projects. So yeah, I truly believe everything happens for a reason. And there are reasons that we started with some of the smaller projects, and that's something that will always be part of Elevate.
Yeah.
But we're looking forward to also what's ahead and gaining some recognition on some larger projects.
Very exciting.
Yeah.
On the flip side, what has been one of the biggest challenges for Elevate?
Yeah, so I would say definitely just understanding our team alignment, making sure that we're making the right hires.
Challenge.
As you're growing, it's just easy to be able to look at a resume and say, okay, let's hire. But what we've really figured out is we need to understand them as a person and really get to know them before we just make a hire. And I will say some of our best team members have been referrals from others.
Sure.
And so sometimes it's just making sure that we're the right fit for them as they are for us.
I can empathize. I've always wanted to add more staff, and
Yes.
I had to learn a lot too. I would have been ready 5 years ago to have staff.
Yep.
Even myself professionally, I wasn't there. So I'm
Right.
still learning to manage them and
Yes.
implement learn how they work, what works, what doesn't. So I
Yes.
can
And develop
relate.
processes and
Yeah. It's
yeah.
even just, do we have the right things to make them successful? And I think
Correct.
the fact that you guys are trying to figure that out speaks a lot again
Right.
to Elevate and the
Yeah.
kind of
Thank you.
business you guys manage.
Thank you.
So let's get to know Holly a little more personally. Your
Yeah,
mom,
absolutely.
when you're not working, which doesn't sound like often, what are we doing?
Gosh, I mean, I absolutely love to travel. If I could travel all the time, I would be very happy. So, if anybody wants to hire Elevate in other states, warm states, that would be fantastic. But I love traveling and spending time with my kids. We really enjoy hiking or just being outside. My kids are all involved with a lot of athletics. And so most weekends I'm spending time at
Sure.
either football, soccer, dance, basketball, one of the above. But I truly wouldn't have it any other way. I mean, I absolutely love seeing my kids excel. And so that's been a really exciting part of watching them grow. And then I love exercising, being outside and really being into wellness. And so that's important to me and just spending time with friends. And I am such a people person. And anytime that I'm around my friends and people that I love, it just really, it means something to me. And so, yeah, just being around others and if we can be traveling together, that's even better.
Yes. Gotta love traveling.
Yes.
The you own your own business. You can travel all you want, right?
Right,
That's all we do.
Money's not involved at all.
Love it.
Yeah.
All right. Are we coffee or cocktails? When people want to meet,
Oh,
what's your choice?
I'd love to say I love a great mix, but I mean, I'm always up for a cocktail. So
That's our kind of lady.
Yes, yes.
Right.
But truly, I mean, anytime I have the opportunity to be able to meet with somebody and hear their story is so
Mhm.
awesome. So whether that's over coffee or a cocktail, I'm there for it.
If you get to pick up walk-up song for yourself, what would it be?
Oh my goodness. Gosh. I had to think
It's a
about
hard
this.
one, right?
That's a very tough one. I will say, like, I get really into Britney Spears, but I don't know which song I would walk out.
Yeah. What is some of the best advice you've ever received?
So I feel like this was tough advice, but the advice was to, okay, you really need to listen to how you're speaking to people because what you're saying may not be coming across the best
Sure.
way to others. So it's what are they hearing? And so I've had to find different ways to communicate. And I think that's a tough pill to swallow because I think my feedback was, well, I mean, yeah, I'm communicating it correctly. This is what
Yeah.
I'm saying, but actually, what are they hearing? And sometimes if you say the wrong thing first, that's immediately what they're going to be sticking to. They're not going to be
Sure.
hearing the rest of it. So it was definitely in forms of communication. I've worked really hard. I've worked with coaches and how to better do that, but also just getting feedback from others, including our
Sure.
team and how is this being interpreted to people? And so working on that, but it was a tough piece of advice to receive.
I think that it's a testament to you and Craig. I've met you several times, we've chatted, and you guys just do really have an energy of excitement about what you do, but authenticity
Yes.
to yourselves. I think what makes it so relatable is because you guys
Yeah.
really are genuinely just who you are, what you
Yeah.
do.
Yeah.
And that honesty, I think, and integrity has really come through very
Yeah,
strongly.
thank you. We're very into transparency. So we want people to understand exactly what's going on and whether that's good news or bad news, how do we find the best solution? And we don't want to sugarcoat things, although sometimes that might be what people want to hear, but it's truly just working through all of the challenges and figuring out the best way to solve that. So I feel like we're very upfront with people, and integrity is one of our core values, and making sure that we're doing the right thing. And there's been several instances where maybe doing the right thing isn't always the most fun, but I will tell you, it means so much to know that looking back, this might have actually pushed us back a few steps, but guess what? We did the right thing to make sure it was right for the client.
2026 goal. What is it? What are we leaving with?
Gosh, it's truly just growth. I feel like last year we almost needed to take a step back, and that was it. That was tough for us, but we were growing a little bit too fast without the processes in place. And I will say there was a lot of challenges in 25. And so really our goal right now is just growth, but it's coming together as a team to create that growth.
Yeah.
And how do we all work together to get there? And so making sure that our team really feels involved with every step of that is important. And so we wouldn't be anywhere without all of them.
Sure.
And then also the community support has been amazing. So that's really just our goal this year, to continue growing, but holding true to our core values with all of that.
Well, Holly, it has been a great time with you today.
Yes, this has been fun.
I anticipate year 4, you're going to be doing even bigger projects.
Thank you.
Thanks for joining us.
Yes, thank you for having me.
This episode is brought to you by Signovation, where brands show up and win.